self-confidence formula by Napoleon Hill contains a lot of secrets to success, and it has lots of references to his book Think and Grow Rich, and it's taken from that book Think and Grow Rich, and also from the other book 16 lessons of 16 principles of success. I can't remember now. It doesn't matter. In order to get the best out of this formula, you need to read it properly. That's the only secret of it. Read it carefully, pay attention to every word, every sentence, think about it, read it aloud. That's very important. Napoleon Hill talks about this. Make sure that you read both the formula and also your goal. So I have it written here according to the formula in the book. And I read it aloud. He says it's important that you hear your own voice, so the subconscious mind can register it even more. So let's start, because every detail matters. Now, I have this version from this Fast Leader show, link below. I just found it there, and I think it's nicely formatted, so that's why I'm using it, but it doesn't matter. Now, there are a few versions of it, because there were a few different from 2 different books, plus there were 2 different versions or a few versions of Think and Grow Rich, and but really the differences between those versions of the self-confidence formula are insignificant. They are tiny, and if you use your thinking, then you will figure it out. It doesn't matter. So let's start. So we start with, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Okay, I know, it's the first word, so we are affirming that I know. It's not that I believe, I think. No, I know that I have the ability. What ability? To achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. That ability I have, and I know it, and I affirm it. Now, the object of my definite purpose in life. Okay, what is my definite purpose in life? Have I got it defined? Have I got it written? Yes. If I do, I need to bring it to my mind when I read it, when I say it. At least have a nice kind of a reference to that. That's very important, okay? The object of my definite purpose. Yeah, so what's the object? It could be the same thing, whether it's the object or the reference to the object. It doesn't really matter that much. Next, therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action toward its attainment. So I demand of myself. It's really serious. I demand of myself persistent, continuous action. I have it underlined also. Highlighted and underlined. I think everything that I highlighted I've underlined in yes as well. So I have it both highlighted in yellow and underlined in green, every bit that I think is important. So I demand of myself, not just like I don't know, I think about it, I demand of myself, okay? And if I repeat that every day, then very quickly it sinks in. After a month of repeating this every day, twice a day, he says once a day, but I think it's better to repeat it twice a day or 3 times a day for the first week or month. It sinks in and we get it. I demand of myself persistent. And Napoleon Hill talks about the importance of persistence in his books all the time. Persistence is super important, and not persistent, kind of a blind persistence in attacking things, but persistence in using the formula, reading the book, applying those clever ideas and studying them. There are 13 principles and in Think and Grow Rich, and they all tied very nicely. One helps you be more excited about the other. They kind of they are very well connected, intertwined, and the more you study them, the more excited you are, the more you understand it, the easier it is to act. And this formula is also part of it, so very important. Persistent, continuous action towards its attainment. Attainment of what? Of my definite purpose in life. Okay, and I here and now promise to render such action. For some people, this will be a very powerful statement. Some people will have challenges saying that, oh my God, I need to promise something. Who do I promise it to? You need to think about it. You need to take it seriously. What it means to you that you are promising to render such action. It's not necessarily something serious like you promise to give your life away, but in the end, you might want to actually treat it that way, like you're really serious about it. It's up to you. Study that, think about it. And let's go to the next point. Number 2, the dominating thoughts of my mind. Okay, the dominating thoughts. Do I have the dominating thoughts? Of course, we all do. So what do I think about? Do I think about some random rubbish mostly? Or do I mostly think about what I want in life? So my definite purpose, my desire. Have I managed to turn my desire into a burning desire? Not, I haven't. Okay, I need to learn how to do it. Again, the principle of autosuggestion talks about it. The faith talks about it. This is super important. Chapter number 1, desire, talks about it. They all give different ways and techniques, strategies to turn your desire into a burning desire, into an obsession, okay? And that then creates dominating thoughts that are actually thoughts of what we want to achieve, our definite purpose in life. So the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action. Okay, they will eventually reproduce themselves. Okay, do we understand what it means? I think we do. They will somehow appear in the real world, yeah? That our thoughts, those that are dominating thoughts, they will produce themselves somehow in the real world. They will manifest themselves in outward physical action. Okay, so here he says that in some action, so probably our action, but it could be also some other things, and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. So as if by magic, and obviously that's not magic, it's kind of a science, because when people have applied it persistently, it always worked. And I know it from my life, it also works. I'm just now applying it to my next goals to see if that happens. Next, therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person that I intend to become. Okay, now this is important. Because of the dominating thoughts will eventually transform themselves into reality, I need to focus my thoughts. So I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily. So that's kind of a minimum probably, upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become. Now, how do we force ourselves to think about the person we intend to become for half an hour? That's a lot of time of thinking about one thing. Well, by thinking about the person we intend to become in many aspects, in many categories. So the person you will become, what kind of characteristics will that person have? Self-confidence in this area of life or in that area of life. The person who takes some decisions quickly, for example. You will be the person who will be surrounded by some good friends or good employees, partners. You will be a person who regularly gets up every day at the same time, has a morning routine, the person who's committed to self-development, for example. Whatever it is, you need to think about it. The person who's got some specific goals, the person you will become, that person who takes some specific action regularly, every week or however often you want. What else? You need to think and write about the goals you have. So writing helps to think about the person you intend to become. Studying really helps thinking, focusing on becoming, on that person that you intend to become. For example, I've got this summary of Think and Grow Rich. Again, I downloaded it from, there is this School of Happiness. I'll place the link below as well. Brilliant summary of Think and Grow Rich, 13 pages. When I study this, I also think about the person I intend to become. So this is part of my half an hour. So it's not that difficult, once you understand what to do with it. Next, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture. In other version, it says a mental picture of the person I intend to become, or something like this. So this is important, that you have a clear mental picture, you know where you're going. Okay, is everything clear so far? If this was, if you're excited, let's continue. If not, pause the video, have a break. So let's continue. I know through the theory of autosuggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek some expression through some practical means of obtaining the object or position I desire. Okay, I know through the theory of autosuggestion. Okay, do you know the theory of autosuggestion? How many times have you read that chapter? How many times have you listened to that chapter? It's available now as an audiobook from Audible or free on YouTube. I suggest you buy it on Audible. It's only like £3 or something, and it's nicely organized into chapters. So that's what I like about it. So if you think you can afford it, absolutely buy it. If not, find it on YouTube for free or buy it from wherever you want. It's up to you. So, theory of autosuggestion. Study from the book, study from the summary. What is the theory about? Make sure that you understand it. And you can't understand it just by reading the chapter once or twice. You need to read it many times, read the summary many times, think about it a lot, apply it in life a lot. And obviously that studying that thing might take the whole life and longer, because it's complicated. It's not necessarily complicated, but we discover more and more as we study. Okay, so make a commitment. Seriously, make a commitment to studying the things. You don't need to do the same thing every day. You can study different things, but make sure that every day you study, learn something new. So, through the theory of autosuggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind. Okay, we know what a desire is. I persistently hold it in my mind, so that's probably already kind of a burning desire if I think about it all the time. For guys, it could be thinking about the girls or this particular lady we have fallen in love with. For ladies, it might be the guy or whoever. Something that we can focus upon. Will eventually seek some expression through some practical means of obtaining the object or position I desire. So what is it that I desire? Is it an object or position in life, situation, something to happen, and so this is all very similar to the point number 2, the dominating thoughts, and this is autosuggestion and a desire, kind of related. So think about the correlation. What is the correlation, similarities? Why are those points similar? Why did Napoleon Hill put those point 2 and 3 here that are kind of similar? There must be something important about it. And yes, he talks about the importance of desire very much. He made it chapter number 1. Do you know why? Because it's the most important bit. So he again talks about desire twice here in a different way. Dominating thoughts, burning desire that I persistently hold in my mind. Super important. Got it? Cool. Yeah? For sure. Now, when you read this, make sure that you actually stand up. I like to stand up when I read it. Just for the video, I'm sitting down. I prefer sitting down. Doesn't matter. The energy that I put into this is really important, and you need to put the same energy, like really be excited about it. If you are afraid of, someone hearing you reading this in an excited voice, well, find a different place. I don't know. Lock yourself in the bathroom or somewhere, or go to a park. Make sure that you read it clearly. If you can't read it very loud, at least read it, a little in a bit quiet voice, but make sure that you actually, produce some sounds that you can hear, okay? And with the same excitement, you can whisper something and say, I have clearly written down a description, yeah? So make sure that you read it with excitement. If you cannot master this excitement, this energy, well, maybe read it later. Or if you don't think you can in this particular day, well, tough luck, just read it however you want, but make sure that you read it minimum once a day, ideally twice a day. So if you miss it once, it still counts, yeah? So number 4, I have clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim. Okay, have you written down the description of it? So again, I have. Now, clearly, have you written it down clearly? What does it mean? If you gave it to a stranger, would the stranger understand what it is about? And I know this is for you. You are supposed to understand it, not a stranger. However, believe me, it's important that you write clearly even to yourself. Very important. Yes, certain things you might only understand because they relate to you, but if you give it to a stranger, it shouldn't take, half a day for you to explain to that person. Only just a few bits that might be, personal, you could explain, but the whole thing must be clear and understandable by anyone who speaks your language, okay? And if you can run it through someone, even better. By the way, have you got a mastermind group already set up? No? Well, big mistake. Mastermind is super important. I have a mastermind with 2 of my friends, and we're making progress like crazy. We meet online twice a week without a fail. Really important. Okay. So run it through your mastermind, your description, make sure that they understand it, that it's very clear to them, okay? And I will never stop trying until I develop sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. How many gems are hidden in this phrase? And I will never stop trying. This is something important. The persistence, yeah? Which again, Napoleon talks about it. It's the second most important bit after the desire, most probably from what I understand. Desire and then persistent. I will never stop trying until I develop sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. So he knows that we will need self-confidence, sufficient self-confidence to achieve the definite purpose in life. If we already had that sufficient self-confidence, most probably we would already have that thing in life, and or it would be so easy for us that we wouldn't turn it into a definite purpose in life. Now remember, the definite purpose in life, it doesn't need to be something that you will achieve in 20, 50 years. It could be something that you will achieve in a month even. But I think, something like 6 months away, a year away is a good target, So you choose the time frames, obviously, and whatever works for you. All right? Let's get back. So until I develop sufficient self-confidence, not just self-confidence because that's kind of wishy-washy, but sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. Okay, another goal for us to focus on. Sufficient self-confidence. Oh, if I develop that sufficient self-confidence, it will be then easy for me to actually achieve that definite purpose in life, or much easier. Oh, wow, okay, so that's a clue. Let me focus on getting also sufficient self-confidence. Wow, another gem. Okay, so I have clearly written down the description of my definite chief aim. Okay, so it's clearly written down. I have thought about this. Everyone understands this. I read it, I understand it. My subconscious mind gets a clear message. And then I will never stop trying. So I will practice persistence, developing sufficient self-confidence, persistence, reading this thing, the self-confidence formula and my clear description of chief aim in life. And I am focusing on getting this exciting thing, the sufficient self-confidence, because once I have sufficient self-confidence, everything becomes kind of easy, or much easier at least, yeah? Got it? Cool. Number 5, the last one. Are you ready? I know it's been a long time, but it's very important. I'm telling you, when first time I was reading this, I took the same time or even longer thinking about every point in that formula. I'm giving you now the answers, so it's easy for you, but you really need to apply your own thinking. If you do not apply your own thinking, just use what I said, that's not enough. I'm telling you, you need to think about it, what it means in your life, in your terms, because you speak different language, so to say. Even if you speak English like me, it doesn't matter. You have kind of your own internal understanding, which is different from my understanding. So you need to think about it, study other books or this summary at least. Seriously, apply thinking. And Napoleon Hill talks about thinking as well. And use your mastermind to increase your thinking, your ability to think, and get other minds to think with you. All right, I realized that no wealth opposition can long endure until built upon truth and justice. Well, I hope now more and more people embrace that formula without even thinking about it that much. More and more people are kind of honest now and truthful more than before, but still there will be some who still try kind of be underhanded, not really upfront with things. If you're that kind of a person, seriously, there is no point in doing that. If you think that everyone around you is cheating and lying, stop hanging out with them, stop doing any business with them. Get out of that environment, find people who actually are normal, so to say, who are honest, trustworthy, who build businesses that help everyone else, okay? So make sure that you get into the right environment, yeah? If you're building certain company, you want to provide certain services, some areas are no good for it. If you want to build some kind of a business in the middle of Sahara Desert, you won't get many customers, and even if you get them, might not be interested in your services. So you might need to do it in the middle of a city, for example. So it's important to be in the right environment with the right people. Yeah. If you go and want to sell some expensive services in a poor neighborhood, that's not gonna happen. You need to find people who are rich, who have money, to buy your services. Got it? Okay, sure. You're not just nodding, saying yes, yeah. You really got it, yeah. That's important. You use your thinking, pay attention. If you can't pay attention, pause the video, come back later, or in a minute, however, whenever. Okay, let's go. I will engage in no transaction that will not benefit all whom it affects. Actually, I think in the current English, modern English, should be affects. Because effects means to kind of, what does it, to effect something, to execute, to make happen, whereas we mean to affect, to have an effect on someone, yeah? So I will engage in no transaction that will not benefit all whom it affects. So again, I'm paying attention that it says effects and it should be affects. Will you notice that? Will you notice the kind of some spelling mistakes or differences between the language of Napoleon Hill from the middle of the 20th century and the current modern language? There will be some differences also. Wherever you are in the world, the English were spoken where you are might be a little bit different to the English where I am. I'm in London, the UK. And this is American English, obviously, from 1930s, 50s, Okay, so now now we were starting the important bit for me, at least, because for me, those two first lines, they're kind of obvious. For me, it's obvious that I will not engage in a transaction that does not benefit all in whom it affects. I know everyone needs to, as my friend says, eat at the table. If many people come to the table, everyone needs to eat, basically. Why would you want to, screw someone over? Unless they are a nasty person, in which case you should not really do any business with them, any transaction. And if you are forced to do a transaction with such people, well, treat them fairly and then stay away from them, That's it. That's my advice. Okay, now the important highlighted bit. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces that I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. Okay, I will succeed. Another affirmative statement. Building confidence. By attracting to myself the forces that I wish to use. Okay, I need to attract something. Okay, how do I attract that? I need to study that. How do I attract those things? Maybe I'll find it in the book or in the summary, Maybe I need to talk to my mastermind and figure out what that means. The forces that I wish to use. Again, what forces? Okay, we need to think what? The forces of attraction, the forces of the mind, the forces of the industry, I don't know, the law enforcement. What does it mean? Again, for you to study, figure out. You don't need to figure out it on the first go. You can figure this out maybe next year or in 5 years. And I'm telling you, even in 20 years, you will still be getting more and more from this formula. So don't worry, just think whatever you can, just speculate, okay? That I wish to use, and the cooperation of other people. Again, another important thing, cooperation of other people is super important. As Arnold Schwarzenegger says, there is no such a thing as a self-made person. Everyone who achieves success, it's because of other people, So Schwarzenegger said he achieved the success because all the people around him help him supporting him in various roles. There are no self-made people. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve them. And again, this is kind of, for me, fairly obvious. I do it in my everyday life, and I hope you guys too. But if you don't, you need to. If you show willingness to serve other people, then they will likely to serve you as well. They will give you favors. If you give them favors, they will. So don't wait for others. You start offering your services or help giving people favors. Now, not by force. I've explained that to a video. Do not help other people. Not by force. Not by, oh my God, can I help you? Just simply offering, or you see someone needs some help. So shall I help you? Can I help you? And if they say yes, then yeah, help them. And Offer your services, even if you know it's going to cost you. It doesn't matter. If it's low cost, you can take it on yourself, and if it's a big cost, usually other people will offer you some kind of compensation. Sometimes people might offer you a huge compensation afterwards, and if they don't, it doesn't matter. You need to do it not because you are hoping to get some compensation or some future favors. Get this attitude of simply being of service. It really pays off. Yes, there is a kind of a balance. You need to learn it, lots of other skills. So it's a good lesson. Start offering your services, and hopefully you'll learn lots of great lessons from it about yourself and other people. Okay, I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity. For all I know that a negative attitude towards others will never bring me success. Again, I kind of have applied this in my life. Yes, I still need to make some progress. Of course, we all do. So for me, it's kind of less important, so it's not highlighted here. But for you, it might be. Again, I recommend the book. Again, you can get it for free on YouTube. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Brilliant. Listen to it, 5 times, 10 times. Not necessarily in a row, but, maybe once a week or so. Make sure that you really get the message of the book. Next one. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself. I think this one is a super important statement from this formula. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself. So this brings you to an important area, which is it's important that we believe in ourselves. We need to find a way to do it. If you don't believe in yourself, you need to start saying, I believe in myself and I believe in others. If you set up a mastermind, you need to, or you can, tell your other mastermind members, you can say, I believe in myself and I believe in you guys and I believe in the power of the mastermind. Repeat it to yourself and to them. Ask them if they would like to say it as well. If they find value in saying that, they can use their own words. Repeat to yourself, I believe in myself. I believe in you. You're watching this video. I'm making this video for you because I believe in you. If you here now in this video, which is towards the end, you really did well. I believe in you, I believe in myself, I believe in you, and I believe in the power of the mastermind. And this is type of a mastermind. You are consulting with me, I'm consulting with you. I know this is kind of going into the future, but I know this will come back to me, in some ways that the universe only understands, but it will come back to me. So I believe in you, I believe in you, I believe in you. And I believe in myself. Let's make things happen, okay? So, I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself. Yeah, so if you believe in yourself and if you believe in them, they will start automatically believing in you as well, yeah? So, now notice that if I'm saying I believe in you and I believe in myself, are you kind of believing in me as well? Are you increasing your belief in me? If yes, now, are you also increasing the belief in yourself? I hope yes. If not, just keep practicing, okay? It's super important. You can't achieve much if you do not believe in yourself, because, if you don't believe you can get to the toilet in time, you probably won't bother. You will just, do do your things where you are or something, Okay, now this is the last bit, so this is like a summary of the formula, so it's not even a point but a summary in the formula. I will sign my name to this formula, commit to memory, and repeat it aloud once a day. Now this is the important bit. In full faith that it will gradually influence my thoughts and actions, so I will become a self-reliant and successful person. So again, in full faith, Napoleon talks about faith. This is building faith. By saying that I have faith and that I believe, we actually influence our subconscious mind. Important bit. Helping us, build that faith even when you don't have it, yeah? So in full faith that it will gradually influence my thoughts. Yeah, we are not kidding ourselves. We know it will be a gradual process, but we know it will happen, yeah? In full faith that it will gradually influence my thoughts and actions eventually, yeah? If it influences my thoughts, it will eventually influence my actions. So I will become a self-reliant and successful person. And this is super important, to become self-reliant. So you don't need anyone's help. You can do things by yourself, you can get by, you can survive. And successful person. So make sure that you sign it, ideally blue ink on white paper, date. And again, as I said, read it once a day, twice a day, ideally with understanding. Read it aloud, with understanding, with conviction, with really thinking about what you're reading. And on some days, if you're not feeling great, yeah, you can read it just like this, okay, fine. But make sure that on most days you really focus on this. Okay, guys, thanks again for watching this and giving me a like, as that helps with everything. Yeah, subscribe if you haven't, or of course, and share this video with others. I'm waiting for the comments. Right now I'm kind of reading the comments every day, so you should get a reply within a week. If you post a comment within a week of to get this reply very quickly. Okay, what else can I tell you? Really, thank you for watching this, and have a great one. Take care.